What is up, risk takers? Welcome to the Kill Pete strategy and welcome to Free Pete. What I'm doing today is the Risk News Q&A show for the first full week of July 2023. This is, we're going to start with the Risk News, and boy, howdy, folks, we have a ton of very exciting Risk News to get to, folks. So, the first thing I will share with you is last week we concluded two major Risk tournaments, finishing the Grandmasters tournament. I want to give a shout out to Tim, our new Grandmaster tournament champion, to Fonty13, our runner-up, and to Saber555, our bronze medalist. Congratulations also to Finish Joke, Mr. Spatula, and One Shot for making it to the GM finals. You guys can only imagine how tough it is to run that gauntlet of only Grandmasters and come out standing on top. All three of these guys, Tim, Fonty, and Saber, have already proven themselves as top Grandmasters, and I'm just taking a brief moment to recognize the accomplishment. And also, of course, shout out to Parlox, and thank you very much, Mr. Parlox, for all your hard work putting together the Grandmasters tournament. I was quite bummed that I got knocked out in the semis, but I will be back next season for season 10. And as usual, I will do the promo for when signups open on this show, when that happens. And that segues nicely, folks, into something I want to talk about. We have an open tournament sign up for the moment. I don't know if Mr. Studley Spudley is still in this chat, but sign up for season 4 of the Risk Legends tournament are now open. I'm going to link the permanent invite to the Potato Time Discord here. And check out, where would you go? It would be event announcements, I think, on his server. Let me find it for you. I'm going to find you the link for the sign up too. But you have to be on Potato Time, tourney announcements. Okay? Risk Legends sign up. Season 4 signups are open. Go down to Potato Time. Follow this link. And you too can become a Risk Legends. And speaking of Mr. Studley Spudley, this is a clip from my cast with him on the Risk World Championship Finals.
Oh yeah, I think he has this.
He's
right
2/3 of the board now.
This is GG, you guys.
You split off properly. Yeah, I like it. Keep going. Oh boy. Congratulations, Eric. Zareki is taken out. Bounty to Eric. We see our tournament champion for Season 2 2023. Second place, Zareki. Third place, Jane Blintz. And congratulations to Eric. Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new Risk World Champion. Congratulations, Eric, for running that gauntlet and defeating so many players. Finishing the tournament in first place and 108 points. Our runner-up, Mr. Zareki, no slouch himself, finishing at 90 points. Bronze medal goes to Jane Blintz, Marin Brambat's sister, so Marin already a Risk World Champion. Also, shout out to Fonty13, Pentix, and Jax Wild as our other 3 finalists. Really, really cool way they did it this season. Each semifinal game was single player advanced. So if you made it, there was 36 semifinalists to a top 6 table. All 6 of these players are champions in my opinion, but Eric was the one who took it all the way home. So congratulations again to Mr. Eric for taking down the Risk World Championships Season 2 2023. All right. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is what's going on in the Kill Pete Open. So this is a little clip from last week from the old Peteman. Finally had a good game. Right. Kill Black. 5th Chaotic. 2 double set. There's 3 in the pocket. Blue says good game. Oh boy, there's a 5 in the pocket. Okay. Kill black, kill blue. And is that a 70 capture? I think that's a 70 capture. What do I have to do? That is indeed a 70 capture. We got a good game, folks. We got the win and 3 bounties. Oh yeah.
This guy's having a good time.
Oh yeah. GG guys. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you playing in the Kill Pete Open, I just want you all to know how happy I am that we've had such a great season so far. The competition means a lot to me. I've really been trying to build competitive risk, doing my part to build our community together. I'm putting up, $1,500 US of my money to try and make it happen. And we are now in week 5. So let's take a quick look at the leaderboard of the Kill Pete Open. Shout out to Chief at 79 points, standing alone at the top of the card. In second place, we have Brayman at 78 points. 3-way tie for third between Olive XC, Sean DeBomb, and Yara. At 6th point, at a 2-way tie for 6th place between I Am Mamba and JJ Brach. And then a 2-way tie for 8th and 9th, Cecil Dogan and Noob 2.0. And a ton of really good players percolating up to the top of the card. The old Peteman sitting at 51 points, which is a multi-way tie for 89th place. And we can see Cosmic Cowboy, former tournament champion, Sir Tyler, former tournament champion. We got a lot of great players still live in this tournament. I see Chris, I see Curlza. Good luck to all of you guys. I hope you're having fun. More importantly than the luck, I really hope you're having fun in this tournament that I and many others are working so hard to put on. Okay, folks? I just want to show you one thing before we move on to the Q&A. This is the final thing we're going to leave for the Risk News. Round 5 settings have been amended. Okay, folks? So if this is your first time hearing of it, fog is now off for round 5. Round 5 is World Conquest, World Domination. Blizzards are on, fog is off, portals are off, auto placement aggressive cards, expert automated bot, 60-second turn, no alliances, balance, blitz, dice. Okay? And feel free to go check out my quick little clip on why this decision was made. It was made last minute, but obviously we are. I can go over it briefly. Fog was on initially to make the settings hard but skillful. It turned out that the way these settings likely would have been played in competition would have ended up stalemating a large number of groups because nobody has a confidence on their kill and they don't want to feed in their real game. So we saw the likelihood of stalemate being quite high amongst the skill level of the average player in the tournament. We feel like that level of difficulty is appropriate for future rounds, but not quite yet before the list has been winnowed. So folks, we are still in week 5 before the cutoff. Week 7 is the first cut. And of course, this is a 12-week tournament. All right, ladies, it looks like bonuses are back on the menu. No. Also, just a quick heads up, folks. It is very, very much, most likely, probably not a bonus-taking game. I think I might have given some folks the wrong idea with my first practice video. And we're going to practice more of that later on the stream. But for right now, we're going to move into the Q&A portion of the show. I'm going to play for you some EU Advanced Progressive Capitals while we do. You know how we do, and that's how we do, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so starting off with the priority Q&A, the way I do the Q&A, folks, is if you have questions for me, sometimes I might not be able to get them answered in my Discord. Or sorry, I might not be able to get them answered in my Twitch chat. I might not be able to get them answered in my Why is the word escaping me? In my YouTube comments. But this is the methodology. If you have questions for me, please throw them up in my Q&A on my Discord. There's a priority Q&A sequence for boosters of the server and then a regular Q&A. So we're going to start with the priority questions. Where did we end off? Okay, I think our previous question is from Tobias Maelstrom. Pete, have you ever considered the fact that society, whilst being modern, has a lot of archaic practices written into the cultural ethosphere? Oh, he's building on a previous question. Touching on the notion of society, where everyone has equal voting power and decision-making, would you consider humanity at any other point in time to be more equal for the people in that period or area, or do you think today's society, while flawed, has done it best up until now, but there's still room for improvement? I think seeking equality is looking in the wrong place. And I think a much more pragmatic solution for the fact that the world remains unequal is to define a standard of the decent minimum and distribute that minimum equally, right? It is not that we should endeavor to make everyone equal. It is that we should endeavor to make the lowest, weakest, most sensitive among us live at a minimum standard that we would all agree upon is reasonable. That's my short way of answering that. And obviously we can dig into it in very great detail, of course. All right. Open Tanyao. Pete, this is important. Who has better hair, Becky or me? It's not open with the good hair. So let's get this nonsense right out of course it's Becky. Give me a who is this guy? Open with the good hair, maybe. All right. My next question is from Quarantined. Hey, Pete, how are you doing? My question is tournament related this time. Let's go. I've really been looking to get into the audacious undertaking of organizing a Risk tournament. Awesome, man. In other esports communities I've been involved with, I've always preferred the position of being the organizer rather than the player, which has been further inspired by a recent downturn in results for me in tournaments. I would rather be the person behind the scenes rather than the limelight. I just don't know how to get something up and running in the Risk community. Any advice for someone looking to appeal to players and provide something fun for them? I mean, come join us, right? Become EH on the main server, help out me, help out Spud, help out Parlox in the GM server. There's lots of places where you can contribute to already existing tournaments. Becky's like, I leave chat for 3 minutes. Open asked, who has better hair, you or Open? And I was like, obviously it's Becky with the good hair. Come on. Yeah, Quarantine, get involved. There's lots of ways that you can join us and help us out if you are so inclined. Okay, I did get to Tobias Maelstrom's question now. So, our next question is from Waffles. Hey, Pete, just looking at discussion of lying versus truth in terms of short and long-term benefits with regard to poker versus Risk. I think that while the two games are inherently different, that there's a lot to potentially be gained from being in the gray area. Unpredictability. If people don't know how you're going to react, then that makes them much less likely to carelessly attack you in Risk. And in poker, being the wild card who mostly doesn't bluff, but does sometimes to fuck with people, is incredibly advantageous. Question. Who in the Grand Master packs that you play with often, whose play style would best fit that description of being unpredictable, chaotic orb of Risk? I would say the most unpredictable and chaotic Grand Master I've ever played with is Nick. He comes up with all sorts of interesting solutions to problems, and you can never quite guess what he's going to do. I would say the all-time top reward for that one would go to Nick. Our next question is from Tobias again. Why do you pronounce things rather instead of rather? I can see it being like tomatoes, but you don't pronounce apple like apple. You say apple, so I'm wondering where the line was drawn for you in your head, referencing linguistics in your particular speaking quips. It's funny you should notice that, because I do say rather. I've always said rather, and I figured out at some point why. So my mother is Dutch, as you all know, and She learned Oxford English. And we learned how to speak from our parents. So before my mother moved to Canada, she learned English. But she learned British English, right? And the British say rather. And I learned how to speak from my mother. And I've always said rather. And it's just one of those little weird idiosyncrasies that I figured it out. A soft A, hard A on Mario. No, it's Mario, though. We all knew. Now you know, Lily Coes. Now you know. I mean, I assume everyone is just following along with this playlist of Q&A that goes back months and months and is just me spewing out my garbage opinions on whatever the hell I feel like talking about. So I also say Southern. Yeah, that's more of a Canadian thing. That's more of a, I don't know. It's tough to figure out why you pronounce stuff, but, and I say 12. Yeah, that's who, nobody says that, right? And I say nobody instead of nobody. You know what? If we dig into our own pronunciation, all sorts of weird things come up. So I'm not going to dig any deeper on this one. But because he asked about the rather versus rather, I do say rather. So that's why. All right. One last question from Tobias Maelstrom. Question inside the photo. I figured it'd be nice to get the Peteman's opinion on the right call to make in the situation regarding a 3-way fixed world dom stalemate scenario. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let's answer. Let's take a quick look, folks, at this scenario before we get back to the game. Okay. We see a map of Roman Empire. Fixed zombies. Yuck. Why would anyone want to play this? First of all, Tobias Maelstrom, your premise is faulty because you're playing fixed zombies ranked. You've already failed. But seeing as how we have to answer a question. We are playing as white. We have 178 troops. I had 2 solutions to end this 2+ hour game. Fixed. Smack black or smack yellow. Yellow was a fake ally the whole match. I kept asking him to hit black, but he would make placating agreements all match. Black was very upfront with his hatred or anger when I did something he didn't like and would tell me he's going to break a bonus when I had too many bonus. So do I struggle for 2 more hours? 2+ already. To try for that first place, or take a guaranteed second and slam the player who's been more spiteful up front or shady behind my back. I hit my fake ally, yellow, with a 175 against 212, or 217 and 1. Black said good game, and I finally get to go to bed. Here is my answer to your question, Tobias. If you find yourself in a ranked fixed zombies, you go to the top left, and there's a little white flag and you press it to surrender, and then you never play fixed zombies again, and nobody plays fixed zombies. It is a garbage mode. So that is my answer to your scenario. Don't do it. Okay, back to back to the video, and we're moving on to the regular Q&A. All right, where did we end off, folks? Have you ever played the board game Diplomacy? No, I've heard a lot about it. I've heard good things. Alternatively, Alt F4, just throw your computer out the window. Yeah, absolutely. I've heard good things about Diplomacy, but the downside for me, one of the real barriers to entry is a time cost, right? It's really hard for me to find the time to just keep at my normal pace, let alone try and incorporate another game into my oeuvre. So that could be a little bit out, but not impossible, just a little bit out. Okay. Our next question is from Dark Shogun. Pete, do you know of or are a fan of 3 Days Grace? They are my favorite band ever. I do know of 3 Days Grace. I do not know of their back catalog, so maybe there's more to them than meets the eye. Our next question is from, why is my Discord doing that? Hey, can you guys explain to me, maybe some of you guys are having the same problem. Are some people showing up on your Discord as like just the first letter of their name and then period? Because like, I don't know. I know this player's name starts with an L, but like, can I click on them and get, how do I view profile? No, it just shows up as like an L or an, that's so weird. I don't know. That's streamer mode. I disable it when I open. Okay, disable. Thank you. Okay. Our next question is from Liberty Fires. Thanks, Kyle. Uh, hey, Pete, I probably misunderstood, but I think I've heard you before that your world philosophy is to remove the idea of borders, flags, territorialism to bring humanity as one group. Ultimately, yes. On the other hand, this is going to be a good question. You played in the World Cup of Risk, trying to represent the flag of Canada. It seems like the action doesn't support the idea, but I might be missing something or misunderstood. Just looking for clarification, and I'm curious overall. No, you're not misunderstanding. I am acting hypocritically here. Very much so. So, I do not believe in national patriotism. But what I do believe in is the game of Risk and the community and the competition. So I like what Mitch is doing. Mitch is using a hook like the World Cup to build a Risk competition that is resonant with an audience, that is inspiring to players, that is fun for players. So I'm in a tough spot, right? I am torn between my desire to live my aspirational goal of a world without borders and my desire to contribute, compete, and help build the competitive Risk community. So in this case, I am acting somewhat hypocritically, and the one that won was my desire to help compete and build Risk. Leona says it's not hypocritical to operate in the system you find yourself in and also advocate for change to that system. I mean, yeah. Listen, I don't pretend to be a perfect person, and I don't have an expectation of myself that I am always going to act perfectly and aspirationally. But very good question, and important to articulate that in this case, if there was another hook that was resonant, if I was behind the scenes or just the little angel on Mitch's shoulder when he was cooking up this idea, I'd be like, hey, World Cup sounds really compelling. Could tell some fun tales, could be a great narrative. And it worked too. That's the other thing. He's done a great job with it. So it worked. But maybe we can do it without national division. I don't know. Not my problem, right? These are very big problems, and I'm not going to fix them myself. I'm just going to talk to them about. I'm going to talk about them with you guys, and we can hash them out. You know, one at a time. Our next question is from Hornet. Interested in your thoughts on which way you feel Risk's growth gets driven. Do you think it's led by improvement, expansion, promotion of the skill-based competitive scene, and then trying to expand from there? Or do you think it gets led by promotion of more accessible and perhaps more luck-based formats, working on upskilling that base from there? Both are obviously very important and need to happen, but just curious if you feel one needs to ramp up a little faster than currently in order to feed the other. Okay. My opinion on this question is that I find competitive Risk compelling. But we are very stymied in competitive Risk by the pace at which the devs work. So in order to get things like a sandbox mode, where we can have all of those fun toggles, the ability to place blizzards and portals where you'd like them, the ability to shoot instantaneous slow rolls, how about fast rolls, right? The ability to turn all camera animations off, the ability to move without a speed delay on both platforms, PC and mobile, and every single thing else you can think of that would make this game more competitively viable. The ability to fix the slider. Quick segue on that note. Thank you guys all so much in contributing to upvoting our suggestion on the slider. I just want to show you one thing, guys. Risk Ideas. June 7th. Our initiative to get the flaw in balance splits noticed reached 239 upvotes. Okay? So this is incredible, folks. I'm pretty sure it will be impossible to ignore what a simple, elegant solution using the slider, just setting and changing the default of the slider will be to fix the inherent downsides to balance splits. So thank you all for helping us with that. Thank you so much. Sorry, a quick aside in the question, but I'm very grateful to put people together and try and work on solving some of the issues we find with competitive Risk in the interest of building a more fun and a more fair competitive scene. And now back to the nitty gritty of that question. So, what is more important? Well, I think equally, if not even more important than a viable competitive scene, is a viable ranked scene. So, having ranked play be more competitive, more fair, having non-cheeseball cap settings be the only way to viably rank up, right? Having progressive world dom, having fixed world dom be viable for the average player, dealing with the bot outs, dealing with the speed gap between PC and mobile, like I mentioned. There's a lot of ways that we can promote more accessible and not necessarily luck-based formats like your question, Hornet, but a way to reward skilled play in a free-for-all context where if you're the best player in the lobby, it behooves every other player to take you out first. But that would directly work against the premise that you are the best player and so on and so forth. So, great question. I think both are super important. And I honestly think a viable public ranked ladder is probably more important than a competitive scene. I just think that it's also important to have the type of competitive scene we're building because it is so aspirational, right? Because I'm the guy sitting here in front of the microphone who cares so much about this board game from 70 years ago, but I care enough about it to bring so many people into our community and be that gateway drug for you guys and show you how much I love Risk. Maybe you'll love it too. But I can't do them alone. And certainly all the content creators, we can't do it alone. We do need those who make the game to be on our team and support us as well. Okay. So Leona says making it so that you have to ready up before the game gets launched would be a massive improvement. I agree that my suggestion for how to redo the lobby, right? Have the ready be equivalent to the enter, but give 100% perfect information from outside the lobby and so on. We have all these ideas. Maybe SMG will hire me as a consultant one day, and I'm going to hold my breath starting now. Okay, question. Next question is for Beasting 247. Hey, Pete, I'm aware that you're not a subscriber to any religion, and I'm not one to push my own beliefs onto anyone. That is noble of you. But, there's a but. I do have a question that is religion related. I like talking about ideas. I'm not here to hurt anyone's feelings, and I don't claim to be an expert on any subject. However, if you want to talk honestly, we will talk honestly about topics like politics and religion because it is my show and because it is this type of show that we're doing right now. Okay? So the question is, the Christian religion teaches to not hold hate in your heart. But way too often you see people who talk about how they're Christians and then they hold hate towards the LGBTQ plus community. Do you ever find it justifiable to hold hate towards any kind of person? And is there a line you have drawn in the sand for what it is and isn't okay? I gotta tell you, and I don't know if this is a cop-out answer or if this will resonate with you guys, but I don't really know what the word hate means. Honestly. Like, I don't understand it conceptually. I don't think I get it. I don't think I experience it. I experience anger. I definitely experience anger. Like, I'm a human. I have the full range. I assume I have the full range of emotions. But, like, I can't articulate what the word hate means. I have sought to live as free of that type of bias as I possibly can. And the only thing I aspire to see people as are people and sort of that lens of equality. We are all one. We are all love. There is unity of spirit and form. We are all brothers and sisters in this world. So the short answer, holding hate in your heart for another person ultimately is holding hate in your heart for yourself. And that seems like a silly paradox and a terrible way to live your life. Next question. The Dread Pirate Robards. Howdy, Pete. Choose your own adventure. Oh, no. Okay. 1, a cat dad joke. 2, a question of pointless optimism. Or 3, a question combo with ridiculous sexual innuendo. I mean, we got to go for all 3, right? We got to go for all 3. Question number 1. When Reggie plays Risk, does he use a free scrolling track wheel mouse? Yes. Number 2. If a rank and approval form of voting was put in place, admittedly not likely to happen, would you be more inclined to vote? If the topic of electoral reform was on the ballot, or if someone I cared about cajoled me into doing it. Do you use a bigger bar in the morning? Also, is that a skip tooth chain? Do I use a bigger bar in the morning? I don't get the joke. I don't get your joke. Sorry. All right. A system allowing you to vote acceptable or unacceptable. Oh, I understand what ranked choice voting means. Yes. Look, anything that would result in the system being more democratic, I would stand for. But currently, I don't see any candidate really harping on about that. If someone is trying to kill it, slightly irresponsible is piping up for the first time to ask if someone is trying to kill your child because of his or her choice, would you hate them? No, I would stop them with all of my power or attempt to, but I wouldn't hate them. Right? I think we assume personal agency to be a lot more than is realistic. My view on determinism allows me to be a lot more forgiving of myself and of others, right? Perhaps this person trying to harm my child is doing so because of all sorts of circumstances that occurred, poverty, lack of education, right? All sorts of systemic problems that have nothing to do with a decision they made personally. They are as much a victim as my child in the example, right? So again, hate doesn't seem productive. It seems like a waste of energy, right? All of my energy would go to trying to saving my child, don't get me wrong. And then we'd let the dust settle after we defend ourselves and figure out who's right. But hate, what a waste of time. Cat. Have you ever played Accents and Allies? No. First time chatter, Javier. Hi, Pete. First time catching a live stream. How you doing, man? Welcome. I hope you guys are having a good time. This is what I try my best to do with the show, is entertain you. Our next question is from Waffles. He's in the main chat instead of the priority. He would like to know, hi, Pete. What do you think of the concept of disgust in politics? The idea that making politics feel so gross and unpleasant that it actually creates groups of voters that refuse to participate in the democratic process, like me, and vehemently oppose anyone who tries to convince them otherwise. And if that question is too political for this show, I honestly don't know if that's a thing or not. You seem like a really chill dude who's happy to discuss religion and such, but I don't actually know if there's a line on what's appropriate. No, free speech. Nothing is, as long as it's not personally offensive to a person or a group of people, anything is fair game. If you were to choose a type of hat to best represent you as a human, what would it look like, and what would kilteds look like? Okay. To answer the stupid question first, the silly question first, I don't wear hats. I wear earmuffs in the winter when it gets really cold. Kilted might need a hat, though, particularly if he's out in the sun because he's a big ginge. Hey, Johnny boy. Johnny wants to do some push-ups. If he doesn't care about me, I care about you. I care about you so much, John. I love you, King John. All right, folks, let me throw down. Why do you hate me? I love you, John. He's feeling lonely. Okay, guys, we're going to take a moment and do some physical redeems, folks. If you feel like you can't make me do hundreds of push-ups, Mustard, I've thought about this already. If you feel like moving your body because you've been sitting watching a television program, I would invite you to move with me. We're going to stretch, we're going to do some push-ups, and we're going to lift just a little bit. And then we'll continue with the question. Feels good to move, folks. Feels very good. Wait, how was Pete? It was Reggie who was playing. Yeah, it was Reggie. Pete's doing his exercises while I sit here with a McDonald's pie and milkshake. Happy 4th to you, too. Hey, man, I'm not preachy. I just, at some point in my life, I got old. Time started catching up to me, so this beats living a life in pain, guys. You gotta move a little bit. Certainly not here to impress anyone, I'll tell you that. I'm just sitting here playing a video game, apparently. All right. So the political question. What do I think of the concept of disgust? So you're using the word disgust, but you're actually asking about voter apathy. Two different questions. So orderly people, like myself, find disorder disturbing or disgusting. My thoughts on voting have nothing to do with that. I don't abstain from the system because I find it disgusting. I abstain because I find it pointless. I find my choice to be an illusion. So, being that I'm a person who doesn't seek to waste his time, I, in recent memory, don't do it out of disgust, but apathy is different. Apathy is a different emotion than disgust, right? But disgust is very useful in politics, and you do see all sorts of, like the Nazis, for example, used disgust very effectively, right? The Jews in Europe in the 40s were kind of thought of or discussed as vermin. So this type of rhetoric is super, super dangerous, particularly when applied to people, and it goes, and it gets darker from there. So how about we leave it on that? But interesting question. I like to do things that I find meaningful and impact my future. What's my MBTI? So MBTI is considered kind of like pseudoscience, or almost like a horoscope. So I think I'm ENTJ, but I like ocean, right? I like the big 5 dimension rather than the 4 dimension of Myers-Briggs. Adding in that 5th dimension is considered to be a lot more scientifically valid as far as psychology goes. But yeah, ENTJ, extroverted, intuitive, thinking, judging. It's usually how I come out on MBTI. And Leona says, yeah, it's confirmation bias. Well, right on, man. That's why, I mean, but hey, that's psychology, right? How much of psych is confirmation bias? All right. Our next question is from Somner. Somner would like to know, hey, Pete, new to the server, normally agree with your thought process and views. However, you talk about how phone voting and direct democracy. Yes. Do you not think that with direct voting on all issues, people will always vote for the thing that favors them, creating even more of a Twitter society? When you don't believe in the current trend, you're screwed. Well, I think a truly democratic process where people would vote for the things that favor them is the ideal of democracy. So when we talk about shoehorning in other things that steer us away from democracy in order to accomplish other goals, the very first thing we have to keep in mind when we talk about those things is that they are somewhat undemocratic or anti-democratic. Let's continue. With the outcome of Twitter being evident, when you really allow people to be themselves and act as themselves, they turn into dicks, stops long-term thought as the majority of people look for short-term gain. All right, so let's unpack this sentence. With the outcome of Twitter being evident, when you really allow people to be themselves and act as themselves, they turn into dicks, and it stops long-term thought as the majority of people look for short-term gain. I disagree with your premise here from the perspective of, first of all, the medium is the message. So we are looking at a subset of people using a certain platform. So who is on Twitter and why are they turning into dicks? I would argue that Twitter attracts people who have that inclination and then self-reinforces that inclination. Okay? So The reason people appear to be dicks is Twitter's fault as much as the person's fault, right? Twitter uses its ability to capture your attention and its ability to make you latently angry to keep you scrolling on their website and to keep you engaged on the platform. It also uses the fact that there's a character limit in tweets to, as you say, stop long-term thought, as the majority of people look for short-term gain. It turns out that with whatever it is, 500 characters, or I don't know what the limit on Twitter is, 1,200 characters, it turns out that there are certain ideas that we can construct that are more complicated than that character limit. So I would suggest with this premise that you are blaming the people and not the platform, and it is at least equally the platform's fault, if not more the platform's fault than the people. And let's look at your final sentence. If you look at countries that are moving forward economically, politically, health-wise, they focus on long-term gain with various different forms of government, normally leaning on the dictatorial monarchy side of things. Yes. From Plato's Republic until now, from Machiavelli in the Enlightenment and in the Renaissance, it is generally considered that a benevolent dictator is the most efficient and effective form of government. But does that mean that we should give up our democratic ideals and aspirations? I don't know, guys. I don't know that democracy isn't doomed, okay? I'm not going to sit here and say I'm sure that my ideas or my hope for democracy is not fruitless and pointless. It might be. It might be. Okay? But I'm going to sit here and I'm going to hope that I'm free. I'm going to hope that my choice matters. And I'm going to act like I'm a person who has agency in the ways that I am. And that's why I believe that democracy is at least an ideal to be sought, if not a reality that we live in. Chat's going off now. You guys hear me though, right? Like, I think Twitter's garbage. I think Twitter is an absolute garbage platform. Drew keeps trying to get me on it, and I'm just like, man, if it can make smart people look like stupid idiots and assholes, I want no part of that. Twitter's gone a lot better because of Musk taking it over. There's no more 500 character limit. Good. Right on, man. Okay, let me play that game. That game was good. Let's do another, folks. Let's do another. Do you guys like this format? The question and answer plus EU caps. Everyone loves these EU caps, right? They're so popular. All right, we're going in again. This time we're playing as purple. Our next question. I hope you like that answer, Somner. I think you're on to something. I just slightly disagree with the way you're placing blame. Right? I think you're assuming more agency on the individual than they have. And I think the individual gives up a lot of agency by choosing to interact with a shitty platform. And then, surprise, surprise, becomes shitty themselves, right? Our next question is from Brandocile King. Hey there, Pete. Without voting, what path forward do you see in the reformation of electoral systems? We're on this subject tonight. Everyone's talking about voting. What path forward do I see in the reformation of the electoral systems? If the goal is to move towards a true democracy, how do you avoid mob mentality in the face of adversity? Varying viewpoints with a lack of uniting principle will always lead to us versus them mentality. No. Sorry. Varying viewpoints and a lack of a uniting principle will always lead to an us versus them mentality. No? Thanks for taking the time to delve into the subject with such depth on your show. Great question. Love this question. This is like the honest, curious, but fair criticism. It's like, okay, we accept that the system we have might not be ideal, but what do you suggest we do about it? So, mob rule, mob mentality in the face of adversity. The implication there is that we require a leader, right? We require a administrator. We require someone with technical expertise. So the ultimate design of what I have in mind is distributed decision making, right? So you can elect or appoint or design a system that is self-updating, that also puts the people who are the experts in the field that they are experts in charge of making the specific decisions, but the overall decisions will still be made and updated by the people that are governed by them. This is government by the people. Okay? The other part of your question that I want to linger on is the idea of a lack of a uniting principle. So, when we try and find human universals, as opposed to things that are culturally relative, we know that culture is mostly arbitrary, but there are scant human universals. There are some things we can point to. We are all born of a mother. We are all born naked. We all die. We all eat food. We all sleep, right? There are human universals. We all love our families. You know, we love our children. We want the best for ourselves. We want the best for our families. We just happen to not think of every other person yet as family. And that is, you know, very old, very ape brain. Scum says everybody poops. Exactly. We all poop. So there are human universals. So the fact that there isn't a uniting principle, this is the most important thing philosophers, leaders should be asking. Right? I have said this before, but I will say this again. The greatest challenge facing humanity is the lack of agreement on the definition of progress. Because and this is logically true from my understanding, because we will progress to something. We are going somewhere. It is our nature. Human beings are the animal that invents things that don't exist from ideas in our head first, and we make that idea manifest in reality. We are the organism that manifests that will of God, that force of nature, right? Our technology is us, is nature made manifest, right? Pete! What's up, Brett? Hi, Pete. What's up, Death for Life Ong? How you doing, guys? Humans are their worst enemies. I hear you, Chris. We are. I just try my best not to be a cynic, right? I try to be hopeful. I try to be optimistic. And I try to tell myself a story that maintains a glimmer of hope for all the good that we can do as well. Getting back to Brando Style King's point, I think we need to find that uniting principle. It's not want, it's not should find, it's we need, necessary for our survival. We need to find that uniting principle. And I'm happy to be a part of that conversation. Oh, baby, we got some gift subs from Hippo Crypt. Thanks, man. Thank you, Hippo. Very generous. Thank you. You're a gentleman, sir. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate the support, guys. I try. The text-to-speech interrupts me. I hope you guys know and understand how much I appreciate you and how grateful I am that you would support my work, that you would listen to me talk, that you would find some of this interesting. I am trying to honestly talk about problems in the hopes that we can solve them together. I don't pretend to have all the solutions, and I don't pretend to be a perfect person. All I offer is a place where we can sit and have an honest, open, as free as possible, given the platform, conversation about complicated and difficult ideas, because I love talking about philosophy. I love digging into all those areas that, you know, we live in such a polarized society, right? The us versus them is so strong. And I don't fly any flag. I'm not on any team. I'm not telling anyone that they're right or wrong. Like, I'm on team logic. Just show me the argument, show me the logic. If it's true, it's true, right? That's how I see it. Going to just be back in a moment. And I will be right back. Who wanted to see Reggie play? It's all in the tumulus meat, folks. The finest flumpus meat. Now, Reginald, do you have sap in your flumpus meat? You have sap in your tum. How did you get sap in there? How did you get sap? Reggie cracked? Yeah, he's super cracked. Very talented Risk Grandmaster. Yes. Oh, yes. Are you a good boy? Mwah. Are you my good boy? Oh, yes. Reggie's already playing. What are you talking about? Mr. Flummox Man. Tummy smacks for the win. Extra tummy smacks. Ladies and gentlemen. What do you think about direct democracy? It's like, let me down. Oh my God. Okay. Where were we, folks? Where were we? I want to hear your thoughts about. I know this might be out of place, but I don't believe in God or anything. I believe in myself because I am the only one to make a change for myself, not someone else doing it for me. You want me to talk about God? You got to put in the Q&A. You can't jump the line. You got to put in the Q&A. Order. All right. Our next question is from Bart. Hey, Pete. In your round 2 game, you mentioned that you were surprised by the amount of good neighbor play, and you expect it to not be a bonus game. No, that was wrong. I was wrong. Do you think that people recently have become too passive and friendly? Good neighbor. Do you expect the men in the future to become a bit more aggressive? No, probably not. In round 2, that would mean breaking people who clearly have the troop lead to protect the borders. Yep. I personally think that as a game progresses, anyone you start a war with will at some point have the ability to suicide and screw you over. Yeah, that's risk. But I'm not sure if more aggression is good. So I don't fully recognize the power I have to shape a meta. Okay? I try to do it wisely, if at all. I certainly hate to do it accidentally. I want you guys to understand this, that I'm not trying to manipulate a metagame. But I'm very cognizant of the extent to which I could. So I am not an advocate for good neighbor play because I believe that is how the game should be played. I don't sit here and advocate for any type of play when I play. And I think I am often misunderstood about this. I would like to clear the air, okay? When you are watching my show, I am not advocating for a type of play because I believe it is the way the game should be. I am sitting, thinking about the situation at hand, analyzing the position, and trying to determine the best course of action given the circumstances. I'm trying to look at what is and trying to figure out what is true. Except for not taking the Oz play. No, even the Oz play. Not taking the Oz play is entirely based on my experience of getting shafted, taking Australia again and again and again. Right? I'm just sick of losing like that. So I won't mess with it. I won't get slammed into again and again for no reason because someone wants a +2. I don't want to tell you guys how you should play. I'm going to tell you how I am playing. We're going to add all of that into a decision-making matrix. We're going to include past results. We're going to run it through a probability filter, and we're going to figure out what is the most likely course of action to lead me to victory this game, and then we are going to rinse, repeat, and do it tomorrow. I'm not interested in telling people how to live their lives. I'm not interested in telling people how to play their game. I am just telling you what I think makes sense right now. That's it. Okay? Good neighbor seems to be the way good players play more often than not. And you can run that logic through your filter and figure out if it's true. Our next question is from Untouchable. You said that the Waiting on Your Best Behavior podcast was named after the line from Everybody Wants to Rule the World. It appears that you misheard that lyric, and it's actually acting on your best behavior. Is it too late to change the name of the podcast? This was news to me. I have been misquoting. I named a whole podcast over misquoted lyrics, if you guys can believe it. The lyric is not waiting on your best behavior. It is acting on your best behavior. So, no, I'm not going to change the name of the podcast. I'm going to allow the misquote to continue and perpetuate. And it is what it is. So, it sure sounds like waiting on your best behavior to me. All right, we got an answer to Bart from Solo Arez, which is not a question. We're having a discussion in the Q&A thread. Oh boy. All right. Solo Arez says, in response to Bart's question, with what I've noticed, the meta goes along with top streamers like Pete, whether their main focus is suiciding bad players, playing passive, or doing something instructive in the moment. The community picks up very soon on the actions popular at hand, at least from my point of view. Yeah, point taken. Kyle was like, yo, Pete, you took a bonus in one of your practice games, and now everyone thinks round 5 is a bonus game. I'm like, oh, God. First of all, I spawned with a +7. Second of all, I spawned with all my material in 3 points to guard that bonus. Second of all, I took it turn 1. So, was that third of all? In a very, very small, unlikely scenario, in a practice game where I am practicing to try and do creative things to figure out what works and what doesn't on settings, because I don't pretend to have it all down either, and I like to try things in practice, which is how you guys should operate when you practice. Figure out what's true. I am not trying to set a meta that's too much responsibility for one person, and you shouldn't listen to me if I was. Excuse me? We're having a conversation about the meta game, Reginald Jage. What are you making all this noise for? You have something to contribute? He says you should hold bonuses in Progressive World in all maps? He says even on small maps. Reginald. That is, what do you think about good neighbor theory? Oh, yeah? Are you a good neighbor? You're a pretty good neighbor to me. Mwah. I'm streaming. Don't make all this noise. Okay. I don't think any one person is smart enough to control a metagame. And I don't think any one person should be trusted to control a metagame. And I'm not trying to shirk responsibility, but at the same time, like, Pete makes suicide embodying the new meta. Ugh. Just play to win. You know, just play to win, guys. play your best game. If I could advocate for anything, I would say that. Play to win. Play your best game. Find where the fun is for you, and respect your opponents. Be kind. Kindness is free. So much responsibility. Well, it's a lot, right? The implication that I should be the one, I wouldn't want that power. I don't deserve that power. And I don't want it. Okay. Madman Trucker responding. In my experience, there's a lot of variables that determine if it is better to break or play good neighbor, like how big a bonus, if it's easy to break, whether they're vulnerable to suicide or heavy retaliation after the break, if they got it much earlier than anyone else, the type of players in the game, if it's fixed, if it's progressive, etc. He's saying this is a multivariate problem. Yes, it is. If I'm your neighbor and you pick up a +2, I'm not likely to care much about it unless you break my bonus after I let you keep yours. But if you get a +5 early and no one will have a bonus for another turn or two, I would expect someone to break early at least once to keep parity a while longer. People who play mostly fixed are more likely to assume everyone will try for bonus, while people who play mostly progressive are more likely to assume that no one will try for bonus. I would just qualify the very ending of that with the newer maps in progressive are more bonus heavy, and the older maps tend to be you don't want bonuses. So World Conquest is a very old map. It is not a bonus map. You shouldn't be taking bonuses in round 5 of the Kill Pete Open. That is not likely incorrect. Don't listen to me. I'm not trying to control a meta. Just an opinion. All right, our next question is from Rec. Hey, Pete. I wonder if you're aware of a term/being called Moloch. I heard of it in the podcast of Lex Friedman, and I found it very fascinating. I'm interested in your point of view and your thoughts. After watching your games and new metas in progressive, I saw the comparison to Moloch. Everyone knows that you shouldn't take a bonus in prog, but if you don't take it, you'd be at a disadvantage compared to others. Hey, Reg, you're streaming. Give me a minute. If everyone played the positional game and one person plays for bonuses, maintaining an external, you would have an advantage over other players, and in the end, everyone would choose to take bonuses, not because it's better overall, but because they will lose the game otherwise. Same goes with capitalism. If you are not optimizing for profit, using AI technologies, for example, you'd be at a huge disadvantage. And that's how we come to cutting down rainforests in South America, exploiting Africa for minerals, finding countries with low labor costs, exploiting people. Everyone knows it's bad, but you can't do anything about it because you will be pushed from the market. In relative terms, everyone is equal, but in absolute terms, everyone is worse. A good read and many examples can be found here. Meditations on Moloch. I think ultimately what you're articulating is called in philosophy the tragedy of the commons, right? Every individual fisherman is incentivized to fish as many fish out of the ocean as he possibly can to feed his family, but in absolute terms, if every fisherman did that, we'd fish all the fish out of the sea, and then there would be no fish for anyone. I will read this a little bit. I'm bad at reading, the problem. Like, I would love if you linked me a video, it would be way, way, way more likely that I would get something out of it. Moloch. In the Hebrew Bible, presented as a foreign deity who is at times illegitimately given a place in Israel's worship. Okay. So this is a mythological definition of Moloch. And that's what I get when I search Wikipedia. So if you want me to respond to something, give me like a 5-minute-ish video link and I can watch it. But reading a bunch of paragraphs right now while I'm live, I definitely will not be doing that. So interesting concept. I don't know if it's slightly related, the same, different than the tragedy of the commons, and if so, how so? But we will move on. Boosted Boots. Pete, Reggie's wasting away. He wants his dinner to plump up more tumulus meat. Yes, of course he does. But if it is not time for the Schmopus man, he has to wait more than an hour for his dinner, so he shouldn't be protesting quite so much. Not quite so much, but Okay. Our next question is from McKenna Blintz, representing for Team Canada. McKenna Blintz. Pete, there's some crazy crap happening in Canadian schools and society. Oh, I believe that. This is beyond my philosophical understanding, but what is freedom when political agendas are forced into policy? Here's the question. Can you explain the wording in the picture? Okay, we'll pause. And we will bring up McKenna Blintz's example. This is called The Paradox of Tolerance by Karl Popper. Unlimited tolerance must lead to the disappearance of tolerance. If we extend unlimited tolerance even to those who are intolerant, if we are not prepared to defend a tolerant society against the onslaught of the intolerant, then the tolerant will be destroyed and the tolerance with them. We should therefore claim in the name of tolerance the right to not tolerate the intolerant. What an awfully verbose waste of time sentence that was. Welcome to How Philosophy is Taught, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to turn people off philosophy for all time, that's how you do it, folks. Absolutely exhausting examples that are not accessible and verbose. And oh boy. Okay. What do I have to say about the idea? I think the framing is bad. I think fundamentally the framing is bad. I think the overarching ethic to be aspired to is unity. I think the only thing that really needs to be spoken of is the truth and reality that we are all the same people. We are all one. We are all love. And we, by that understanding and rationale, do not tolerate ourselves at all. It's not each other. It's ourselves. We are all brothers and sisters. I said this earlier on the show. Tolerating other people doesn't make sense. They are you. Hey, Stumpino! Is the Peteman on some philosophical shit again? Oh, yeah, we're doing the Q&A, Stumpino. Doing the Q&A, bud. How are you? We're also doing a little Europe caps, everyone's favorite, the Europe caps. Can I explain the wording in the picture? Okay, so the way you would digest Karl Popper's argument is that there are those out to get you in this world. They are intolerant to you. And if we tolerate them, we lose some semblance of free society that we have built. So to some extent, we must create borders and protections, right? This is basic liberty theory. One's liberty can and should not extend beyond the point to which it impinges upon the liberty of another. And that is a fair point. But he could have said that with less words. Thank you, M4JK Houdini, with the raid. Happy 4th, Houdini. How you doing, man? How was your stream? Creamy Beats, first time chatter. Have you read The Egg by Andy Weir? I think it matches your sentiment. Put it in the Q&A. I'd love to talk about interesting ideas. Is this something that speaks to you, Alador? Are you a Karl Popper fan? Am I not doing the example justice? Musa Bosch says, don't be a dick. It's that easy, the golden rule. And when you get called out for being a dick, you either own it or adjust. It's easy. We're animals. It's simple. It may not be easy. Come on down to the Discord. I have a Q&A thread, and I'm answering questions right now in priority sequence so that people who asked them earlier get answered. That's why I can't necessarily do it all through Twitch chat or through YouTube comments, but I like the Q&A show, and we try and do this once every week or two. The official King Bravo. Yo, I saw you on that one YouTube video you made a while ago that went viral. Welcome, Bravo. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, man, it did go pretty viral. Happy Treason Day to all the Americans are in chat. Are you British? Pink Fantasy? Seems like a treasonous perspective to have on the 4th of July. You just right with these things, they put people off philosophy real quick. Yeah, you have. So I'm big on simplifying and then expounding when asked questions, right? I think it's very important to be able to articulate the meat of your point with the fewest words possible. And I think this is also a skill that isn't taught. So very complicated ideas become unnecessarily overcomplicated. Aldor says, if I understood the quote correctly, yes, it isn't. Yes, I liked it. You had a valid point that was a little lacking, but I also felt reasonable people. Pretty intuitive to understand the distinction isn't just intolerance. There's a deeper level that makes intolerance not acceptable, and therefore it's fine to be intolerant in your actions. Yeah, being intolerant of the intolerant. I just don't like the fundamental framing. I don't like the idea of tolerating other people. Right? I prefer to frame it as unity with other people. I don't just tolerate you. I love you for your virtues and your vices. You are human, as am I, right? We are both imperfect. But I don't merely seek to tolerate you for that. I hope to love you for that, and self-reflexively hope to love myself as well. That's how I see it. And this might be an overly pedantic distinction, and we could always go into the weeds and say more words about this, but I think I got to the meat of it, and I'm happy with that answer. So thank you, McKenna Blintz. That was a great question. Our next question is from Goatman. Hello, Goatman. Hey, Pete. Are there special bonus points for winning Group 69 of your tournament? Dab. We dab on that, folks. That would be a Kyle question. Kyle, are there special bonus points for winning Group 69 other than the dab? Other than the dabulation? Oh, we dabbing, folks. Oh, look at all the dabs. Look at all the dabs. Oh, wow. Good question. Thank you, Goatman. No, you get no bonus points. None. Oh, baby. Pete will personally dab on stream for you. We dab on that, folks. 69 bonus points. What's up, noob? You up already? In sunny down under? Dude, I bet you it's hotter here. I don't know, maybe not. I don't know what part of Oz you're in, but it's the winter, right? We are boiling hot today. Absolutely boiling hot today. Starting to cool off now. I think I'm going to turn on the air conditioning. What's up, Assassin Flores? Hey, Pete, first time watching. What's up? What's up? Lunchtime? Oh man, so you're not all that far away. I'm in Arizona, Lamau. We are burning ourselves alive. Wah! Don't do that. Obido says, do I get bonus points if I have to play multiple games in back-to-back rounds? Don't tell me you have to do it again. No. 13 Celsius in Melbourne. Yeah, 13's not even that's winter time for you, huh? Melbourne. All right, folks, our next question from I. Bronson. L. Bronson? I. Bronson. Hey, Pete. You mistakenly said unstable blizzards. How do you think that would actually work in game? If that could be an option, would you play with it? The problem I would see standing out to me with unstable blizzards is what happens to the troops. Do they get frozen in ice and then reopened later? Do they get murdered by the blizzard? What happens to the troops? Do they get pushed to adjacent territories? All different things that could happen with the unstable blizzards. Yes. Would I play with it? Yes. I'd play with all options. More options are better than less. Let's try all the options. Man, this blue guy is really on my case. I feel like this blue guy is really insisting that I don't get to hold any bonuses. Obido says, cash me outside. How about that? 40 degrees Celsius. Where are you, Mustard? That's so hot. That is so hot. All right. Our next question is from Jerry Rivers. Hey, Pete. Do you have any tips for pathing on the R3 map? I seem to struggle with how the sections connect. How would you best practice the pathing? R3 was Operation Atom. The pathing was a little bit interesting with the unstable portals and the blizzards. I loved it. And how do you practice it? You got to practice, guys. If you want to do well in the tournament, if you want to win my money, Throw some practice games in. I love practicing for tournaments. I do seek, that path to mastery. See how far we get to it, but it's a big goal of mine to do the best I can do. Practice, learn, grow with you guys, so it's a lot of fun. Ooh, I really slammed that dude. I really slammed that dude. I was sick of him. I was sick of him on that turn. Oh, man, I just opened Magenta and hit him hard. General Valenzuela. Oh, boy, that was a big hit. That was a big hit. Hathier says, I fed 2 kills on the map. Oh, no. Did you practice? Noob says, practicing is actually the best part of the tourney. Well, unless you win. How are you going to win if you don't practice, guys? How are you going to win if you don't practice? Our next question is from Foyd. This is one of the questions I always asked in my entrepreneur class in high school to successful business owners, and I asked to you, what is your definition of success? Oh, get out of my face. This guy keeps breaking me. Keeps breaking my bonuses. My bonuses. Aldor says you win by getting good, and then you don't have to practice. Oh, boy. All right. What is my definition of success? If I feel satisfied, if I feel satisfaction in the incremental steps towards achieving my goals. That's a lot of words. But that's what success is for me. Like, I need to have a big goal, I need to have an intermediate goal, and I need to walk the path to getting there. And as long as I feel like I'm progressing to that, I feel successful. Success is not a destination, it is also a journey. Think about it that way. Yeah, those are my thoughts. I'm walking the path to becoming the man I aspire to be. Do I hit blue again? Because he won't stop, right? All on cap, and I go in again, don't I? I go in again, don't I? Let's go. Oh, baby. Yeah, I'm sick of this guy. I'm sick of him. I think do I kill him? Oh, please kill this man. Yeah, you get no bonuses now. You won't stop breaking me. Right. You can't be trusted with any bonuses. I break everything. And I troll him. Yeah, I'm sick of this guy. Yeah. Break me again, fucko. Oh, yeah, that's how we do it. That's how we do it, folks. Oh, boy. What are you going to do with your 40 trips? You're going to break me, right? You're going to break me? Yeah, he's coming in again. He's going to feed me his own kill. Oh, he's going to feed me his own kill. This is beautiful. I love this. Oh, I'm going to kill you. I'm the baddest of neighbors. No, he started it, dude. This guy kept breaking my bonuses. Yeah, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to make you die. Glorious. Looks like this game still goes for a bit. I hope that was a satisfactory answer for you, Void. Deathblow says, to Peachman. Just made master grinding prog free for all and Euro advanced caps. Could not have done it without your help. No question, really. Just appreciate all the time you put into the content. Thanks for being the original homie, RJ. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You know what? I say it from time to time. I want you guys to know that I mean it. This community means a ton to me. This project where I have found my voice, where I'm able to add some value to your day. It's not lost on me, okay? How important it is that I speak wisely, that I speak honestly. I help so many people get better at Risk, that I show you the fun of this beautiful community. It means a lot to me. I'm grateful for you guys. Thank you so much. All right, we got a question from Esgarpin. Hey, Pete, would you do a PhD in philosophy, religion, or social sciences if it was free? No. It is absolutely not a matter of cost that keeps me from going back to school. It is a matter of time. I don't have time anymore, probably for a degree. I might towards the end of my life if I am so financially successful that I'm willing to dedicate that time to a scholastic endeavor. But right now, I don't need any education for any sort of business endeavor. And if I was going to, I'd probably just start a business. And academic philosophy is a mess. So the way academic philosophy is taught is garbage. And I think the interesting thing for me is not who said what when, and not reading translated Greek, but what is the meat of the idea? What is the essence of the thought? How do we build on it? How do we make it make sense? I was thinking about before I became, before I met with the success on YouTube, I was thinking about getting a master's in psychology because I wanted to be involved in the burgeoning psychedelic assisted psychotherapy field, maybe from a business perspective. But now with this, instead of helping one person or fewer people very intensely, I feel like I'm helping a larger number of people very insignificantly almost. But you know what, if I as I always say to you guys, right, if I brighten your day just even a little bit, that's good enough for me, right? That makes it worthwhile to me. I cannot believe this blue guy keeps hitting me. We are at a war, right? We are willing to let pink just win this game. It's a fight for second, folks. Me versus blue. We're just ignoring the magenta player completely. Getting 40 plus a turn every time. Oh my god. Meanwhile, in the southern part of the map, I know it's so dumb. SB Marimore says, thanks, I appreciate the strategy and advice on random things. Yeah, man. It's not even like, don't even take it as advice, okay? I am being asked questions. I am in service right now. I'm not sitting here telling anyone how they should live their lives. I'm just answering questions honestly. I'm going to hit him again, aren't I? I'm going to smack you again, fucko! I'm going to hit him. I know I'm going to. Yes, you die. I make you die, you loser. Beat me on. Oh, that feels good. That feels good. I remember this game, but like I'm watching it again and it's just as satisfying. That guy was on my case and we had to kill him. Ugh. It's happening again. Another voided game to not enough players. That's terrible. Okay. That's very disappointing. Are people just no-showing? Nick says, Pete, I need a reprieve from a conversation about where clouds come from. Please save me. All right, Nick. Consider yourself saved. Talking about how blue is an asshole. We have 3 of our 6. Oh, that's such a bummer, man. Ugh. So what? Then you just end up sitting around waiting? Well, it looks like Magenta has way more troops than me. I offer him the good game. Am I faster than him? Am I trying to win through speed? What's the plan here? How does the Peatman get out of this one, folks? This looks like a guaranteed loss. Slider error. Okay. Oh, there's a lot of caps back there. Or a lot of breaks. Okay. Interesting. We move the cap totally out. We fail the fortify. Yeah, okay. We fail the fortify. What? All right. 90 troops. How many troops does this guy have? This guy has like 3 times my troops. I'm so into this. I am now. I want to win this game. He just hits my cap and I die, right? He just hits my cap and I die. Yeah. That is not a win for me, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all enjoyed the show. That is the end for the Risk News Q&A show for the first week of July 2023. And we lose to an intermediate, but we got our friend Mr. Valenzuela. Oh, baby. All right, folks. I do still have pants on. No, I kind of have shorts on. Actually, kind of shorts on. I hope you enjoyed the show. The plan is to do this show on Free Pete every week or other week sort of thing. Whenever questions fill up in the Q&A. We almost got to the bottom of the thread too. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed, folks. Hope you found some of it fun and entertaining, maybe even a little bit educational and informative. If you are interested in getting better at Game of Risk, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. Come along the ride with me. I have a daily release on YouTube. I do weekday shows on Twitch for all of you on the path to world domination. Good games, good luck.